Hey guys, and welcome to Priestly Vids. My name is Raina, and I'm a level 80 Blood Elf Priest on the server Boulderfist. If you're anything like me, when I play a class, I like to know as much about the class as possible to ensure that I'm doing everything correctly. I decided to start making some videos about the Priest class. I will state right off the bat that I do not know everything that there is to know. I am only speaking from my experiences that I have from playing a Holy Priest as my main since the Burning Crusade. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and I would love to hear anything that you have to say, including constructive criticism. Today I would like to talk about the Holy Priest talent tree. For this video I will assume that you are level 80 and geared enough to start doing some raids. I start out by going to the discipline tree and putting 5 out of 5 points in twin disciplines. This will increase the damage and healing done by my instant cast spells by 5%. I then put 2 points into improved powered fortitude. This will increase the amount of stamina that your party and raid members receive from your buff by 30% and will also increase your own stamina by 4%. Improved Inner Fire 3 out of 3. This increases the effectiveness of your Inner Fire spell by 45% and it increases its total number of charges by 12. In Burning Crusade, this talent was not as important because Inner Fire only increased your armor. But now in addition to increasing your armor, it also increases your spell power. So having 45% increase on that spell power is almost like having an additional piece of gear. Meditation. I always put 3 out of 3 in meditation to allow 50% of my mana regeneration to continue while casting. If you press C and you open up your character journal, under the spell tab, you'll see the mana regen. I want to talk to you a little bit about these two numbers. The top number is your mana regeneration every 5 seconds while not casting. Mine is currently 713. This number is not important at all. There are very few times in a raid, especially as a holy priest, where you will be standing around for more than 5 seconds without casting a spell. The second number is the one I'd like to focus on. Right now, mine is only 77 mana regeneration every 5 seconds while casting. This number will of course go up once I get my talents in, and I will do a lot more talking on this topic in a later video. Inner Focus. A lot of people argue that Inner Focus is not worth spending the talent point, but I choose to disagree. When this spell is activated, it reduces the mana cost of your next spell by 100% and increases its critical effective chance by 25%. This is a 3-minute cooldown, and I will be straight out honest with you, I use it once every 8 minutes, and that is when I use Divine Hymn. Divine Hymn is an 8-minute cooldown that heals the lowest people in your party or raid. It's channeled and it's fantastic, but it costs 2,500 mana. So this spell reduces the mana cost, increases its critical effective chance, and so emergency situations, you have an option. Now let's go to the holy part of the tree. The talents in the holy tree can sort of be interchangeable depending on your playstyle. I'm just going to show you how I do things and why I do them. I put 2 out of 2 in Healing Focus, which reduces the pushback suffered by 70% from any damaging attack while I'm casting a heal. This has become a lot more important to me as we've started getting into hard modes in Icecrown because there are a lot of pushback abilities. 3 out of 3 in Improved Renew. This will increase the amount healed by my Renew spell by 15%. Holy Specialization increases the critical effective chance of my holy spells by 5%. This next part of the tier is a little tricky. I see a lot of healers speccing into Divine Fury, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It reduces the cast time of your Greater Heal spell by half a second. But I like to put 4 points into Spell Warding. The reason I do this is because if there's a Holy Paladin in my raid, and there generally is, I will have no need to cast Greater Heal unless they aren't doing their job correctly. So I like to get a little bit of damage reduction from spells, especially since there's a lot of fights in Icecrown that have massive spell damage. 1 point in Desperate Prayer. This is an instant heal on a 2-minute cooldown. It has saved me a number of times. I can't tell you how many times this little heal has saved me. I do recommend getting this ability. And 3 out of 3 in Inspiration. This will reduce the target's physical damage by 10% for 15 seconds after getting a crit from one of my heals. 2 out of 2 in Holy Reach. This will increase the range of my Smite and Holy Fire, which isn't that big of a deal. It will also increase the radius of my Prayer of Healing and Holy Nova, Divine Hymn, and Circle of Healing spells by 20%. So basically, all of our main heals in one button extra range, you're good to go, especially in Ice Crown when everyone has to be so spread out for so many of the fights. Improved healing is a talent that I do not ever take, and I will explain to you why. Improved healing reduces the mana cost of your lesser heal and heal, which are two spells that you do not use in Wrath of the Lich King. Greater heal, which is a spell that you wouldn't use if you had a Holy Paladin. Divine Hymn, which is an ability that if you got Inner Focus, is free anyway. And Penance, which is a spell that we don't have as Holy Priests, so I completely skipped this talent. 2 out of 2 in Healing Prayers. This reduces the mana cost of my Prayer of Healing and Prayer of Mending spell by 20%. This is very important. As a Holy Priest, I do a lot of Prayer of Healing and Prayer of Mending spamming, so this is a great talent to get. 1 in Spirit of Redemption. When a Holy Priest dies and you see the Spirit come up and start healing everyone, this is that ability, Spirit of Redemption. For 15 seconds, you're allowed to continue casting and get your raid topped off, and this can really help in a situation where you're about to wipe. Spiritual Guidance. I like to put 5 out of 5 because it increases my spell power by 25% of my total spirit. And as a priest, almost all of our gear has spirit on it. Spiritual Healing. This will increase the amount healed by my healing spells by 10%, and when I have all 5 points into that talent. Surge of Light. I once had a GM ask me to just talent 1 out of 2 into this talent, and I did it, but it didn't proc nearly as often as he thought that it might, so I go ahead and put 2 out of 2. What this talent does is all of your spell criticals have a 50% chance to cause your next smite or flash heal to be instant cast and cost no mana, but it will be incapable of being a crit. Free flash heals all day long. I do a Circle of Healing and I get a free flash heal. I do a Prayer of Mending, I get a free flash heal. I do a Prayer of Healing, I get a free flash heal. It really is great. It saves a lot of mana. Holy Concentration. This will increase your mana regeneration from Spirit after you critically heal with Flash Heal, Greater Heal, Binding Heal, or Empowered Renew. We don't use all of those abilities as Holy, but we use enough of them to make this talent worth spending all 3 points in. Blessed Resilience. This increases the effectiveness of my heals by 3%. The second part of this talent is more of a PvP talent. Critical hits made against you have a 60% chance to prevent you from being critically hit again for 6 seconds. Really, that does not apply to us because if we get crit in Ice Crown Citadel, we're going to be dead. I like to put 3 out of 3 in Serendipity. When you heal with Binding Heal or Flash Heal, the cast time of your next Greater Heal or Prayer of Healing spell is reduced by 12%. This stacks up to 3 times and lasts for 20 seconds. In a later video, I will get into my rotation a little bit more. However, this ability is great for a quick Prayer of Healing and also for those emergency situations where your Holy Pally may have died and you need to get a Greater Heal off on the tank. I then put 3 out of 5 in Empowered Healing. Your Greater Heal spell gains an additional 24%, and your Flash Heal and Binding Heal gain an additional 12% of your bonus healing effects. If I had 2 extra points to put into this talent, I definitely would, but I just don't feel like sacrificing points elsewhere would be worth it, especially since I don't use Greater Heal. I then put 1 point into Circle of Healing, which will be your best friend. It heals up to 5 party or raid members within 15 yards. And 3 out of 3 points in Empowered Renew. Your Renew spell gains an additional 15% of your bonus healing effects, and your Renew will instantly heal the target for 15% of the total periodic effect. This is great. To get an instant small heal right on the tank with a heal over time, it's great. I love Empowered Renew. 5 out of 5 in Divine Providence. Divine Providence increases the amount healed by Circle of Healing, Binding Heal, Holy Nova, Prayer of Healing, Divine Hymn, Prayer of Mending by 10%. It also reduces the cooldown of Prayer Mending by 30%. This talent is totally worth getting all 5 points into. Those heals are almost all heals that you use, and having a 30% reduction on your prayer of mending is amazing. And the final point into Guardian Spirit. This calls upon a Guardian Spirit to watch over the friendly target. The Spirit increases the healing received by the target by 40% and also prevents the target from dying by sacrifice itself. The sacrifice terminates the effect but heals the target for 50% of their maximum health, lasts for 10 seconds. Guardian Spirit will save a tank's life many times. The only gripe that I have about this talent is that if you use it on a paladin tank and they fall below their health pool and they essentially die, if they have Guardian Spirit on them, when it procs and puts them at 50%, it also procs their Ardent Defender. So kind of keep that in mind. If they still have Ardent Defender up, and you put Guardian Spirit on them and they die anyway, it's going to proc them both, and then you're going to be left with no Guardian Spirit, and they're not going to have an Ardent Defender. So just be aware of that. Okay, now I have my bars all set up again, and you may be wondering what this is right here. This is just simply a macro to combine my Inner Focus and Divine Hymn like we talked about earlier. All it is /cast Inner Focus /cast Divine Hymn. This works great for emergency situations, and I don't have to have 2 clicks to get the same job done. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, or you can follow the link to my blog that's in the comment box under the video. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed.